will take it and set it up behind his own net. Score tied 2-2, third period. Quick outlet pass to Ashby, broken up by LaPointe. LaPointe dumps it inside the zone. Here's Kindrachuk, right face-off circle. Short side, it's wide. Cairns back to the left point. DuPont keeps it in, but here it's picked up by Salming. We have a 2-on-1 with Neely. Salming on the backhander. It's wide out the long side, and Cairns quickly up to the right wing at center. Kindrachuk across the Toronto line to Selesky. Back in front, intended for Bridgman. Picked up by Jim Watson. Oh, loose in front. Now it's Selesky in the right wing corner. He's skated off by Salming, and it's Neely. Neely cuts inside Bridgman, straight up the middle. Now we have a 3-on-2. Neely with Ashby open on the left wing. To Ashby, he's broken up by Bob Daly, and a good sweep check. Daly carries to center ice. Cuts to the middle, out of the right side. Weak shot, and offside still in the zone with Bobby Clarke. We have 16:34 to go in regulation time. With the score, the Flyers 2 and Toronto 2.
Evans and Paul Boudreau.
Face-off midway between center ice and the Toronto line. Kindrachuk against Boudreau, and it's the Leafs controlling. Pelech in his own zone, crosses right side to Karloff, to Boudreau at center, gets by Jim Watson. Watson's going to be going off, and it's going to be on the delay, finally called, and it's going to be, well, it's going to be holding. So the Flyers shorthanded for the next 2 minutes of play.
Well, that was an error of real commission as Boudreau beat Jimmy, who grabbed him from the left side.
Boudreau made a nice move at Jimmy Watson, just inside the blue line. Got around him. Jimmy not taking any chance. He wasn't sure if there was anybody back checking or not, or who was between number 19, Boudreau, and the net. Reached out, put the clamp on him, and just sort of spun him around and down. So Jimmy's off for holding now with 16:24 remaining in the third period.
All right, that's for holding at 3:26. The Flyers' 7th penalty of 10 called by Dave Newell. And the Leafs are 1 for 4 on the power play, get a 5th. Score tied at 2.
And it's going to be Sittler between Williams and McDonald up front, and Hugas. Turnbull and Salming at the points. Just inside the Flyers line, it hops over the glass and out of play across the way, right to the right of backup goaltender Bernie Perron.
That for Jimmy Watson is his first penalty of the playoff series.
Clarke and Lonsbury, the penalty killers on for the Flyers. Flyers control as Clarke taps it back to Daly, who lifts it the length of the ice, wide of Thomas to his right. He sets it up for Turnbull, who comes back and sets up behind his own net. Turnbull right in front of Thomas, goes right side for a breaking Lanny McDonald, but picked off by Lonsbury and dumped back in. But right on the stick of Salming. Salming cuts left side, blocked off by Clarke at the line. They battle for it. Now Sittler inside the line, and he's offside.
Terry, another point. We talked about Sittler and trailing by McDonald, breaking down the right wing. I noticed on the power play, they like to just get him a step over the blue line on the left wing, and he holds there and then sets up the play.
Sittler can find McDonald usually in the slot or trailing behind him, Indian file.
Face-off control by the Leafs. Salming at the red line. Fires to the Flyers' right wing corner boards. Carms behind the net. DuPont round the near side, kept in by Turnbull. Now it's Daly with a stick on it, and he lifts it the length of the ice. The corner across the way, picked up by Salming. 1:15 left on Jim Watson's penalty. Salming goes to McDonald on the right. Drops it back for Salming as she goes through center ice. Back on the right to Sittler. Sittler gets by Clarke along the boards. Daly back on it. Intercepted by Tiger Williams. Centering pass, Karam back to Salming. Left side for Turnbull. The drive deflected wide, and Clarke will take it off the boards. Clarke to center ice to Lonsbury. Lonsbury gives the puck away to McDonald. Back into the Flyer zone. He's crunched by Daly. Clarke takes McDonald to the left wing corner. Daly clears the length of the ice. I think Lonsbury was probably among the most surprised in the building when he looked up and saw the Leafs. Here's Tiger Williams across the line. Drops for Sittler. Right side. McDonald. The drive scores. And the Leafs take a 3-2 lead on their second power play goal of the night.
Well, there's that power play again, Terry, and that was a lovely setup. And not in the slot that time, but from the right wing circle, and it looked like we went right through Wayne's pads.
Gets to be sort of monotonous after a while. Gina keeps saying go by Lanny McDonald, but that's just the way it just keeps happening. He was away over at the face-off dot almost. Passed by Sittler, found him all alone. Lanny McDonald's almost caught the circle away on the bad side. Just put it right on the far side of Wayne Stevenson, halfway up, and Jeff never moved in that at all, so I'm not sure if he saw it or if he was blocked by Joey or what, but he got him moving. Left with Lanny McDonald. Jeff moved sort of to the right, and Lanny McDonald just to come between him and the post. So Lanny McDonald's 10th playoff goal gives the Leafs a 3-2 lead with 14:54 remaining in the third period.
Well, Sittler. Go ahead, Don.
I was just going to say, Darryl Sittler has assisted on all 3 Toronto goals.
He now has 21 playoff points, just 6 shy of the record.
Off the face-off, as both teams are now back full, it's Joe Watson from behind his own net. He's up to center ice. All Flyers up, and it's looked into the right wing corner, goes behind the net. Thomas reverses it, gets it back as Dornhofer is hit hard by Mike Pelech as the pace of the game starts picking up. Pelech goes down, the puck is beneath him. Barber digs it loose for McLeish. McLeish back to Bladen at the right point. He drives through a screen, blocked short side by Thomas. Dornhofer kept on the doorstep, and the puck is cleared over the glass in the near corner to our right and out of play.
Remember this, Sittler came into this playoff series with 10 points. He now has 21, so he has 11 in 6 games, less than 6 games. So he's just picking him up at 2 per game, and you got to keep him under wraps. They did Tuesday. They have not tonight, and there Terry, 1 step over the line on the left wing inside the blue line, setting up the play to McDonald as we called.
Clarkie called him the best centerman in hockey right now, and he is living up to Clarkie's prediction, I'll tell you.
Ferguson and McLeish on the face-off. Leafs control. Pelech sets up behind his own net to our right. Flyers again, for the 3rd time in the game, face a catch-up situation. Quick lead pass at center ice, picked off by Blade, and then back comes Dornhofer. Across the line comes Dorney. To McLeish on the right. Can't get a shot away. To Barber. To the right wing corner for McLeish. Double teamed and broken up, and here comes Ferguson. Ferguson to center ice. Goes right side for McKinney, and offside is Ferguson as he went in before the puck. 13:51 to go in the 3rd period. It's Toronto 3 and Philadelphia 1.
Close friend.
Back here at Maple Leaf Gardens, we have 13:51 remaining in regulation, and the story is the same. The Flyers here at Garden trailing in the 3rd period by 1.
3-2 the score as the Flyers gain the control of the faceoff. Daly quickly out of his own zone to Kindrachuk at center. Lifts it to the left wing corner in the Toronto zone. Down goes Bridgman. Quickly hops back up again. Picked up by Salming. Lifts it ahead to Neely. Neely out of his own zone on the right side. Lead pass for Bouchette across the line. Ashby would have been offside, but the Leafs get the puck right back again. Turnbull through it. Heavy screen across the line on the right. His shot is deflected to the backboard. Daly gets his stick on it. Broken up. Ashby can't control it. Now it's picked up along the near side by Jim Watson. Watson to center ice. Drives it to the Toronto left wing corner. Salming takes Jim Watson out of the play as Thomas clears it out of harm's way. Now it's Bouchette up the left side for Bob Neely. Neely out of his own zone to center ice as Ashby goes in behind Daly. Here comes Ashby. Off the outside of the goalpost. Centering pass. Cleared ahead quickly for Horace Kindrachuk. Kindrachuk looks back. See Bridgman coming in. Kindrachuk right face-off circle. Tries to go back to Bridgman. Bridgman digs it out of the corner. Back to LaPointe. Through a screen. Deflected all the way through. We've got a delayed penalty coming up. And it's against Toronto. Mike Pelech for tripping.
Well, that's the 2nd time on this shift that Bridgman was pulled down, and finally the Flyers get a penalty. 12:39 remaining the 3rd period. The score, Toronto 3 and the Flyers 2. Back here at Maple Leaf Gardens, Pelech the penalty for tripping Bridgman in front of the Leaf net.
Mel Bridgman was heading for the front of the net, trying to set up a screen. Some kind of confusion in front of Thomas, and Pelech just took the stick and just swiped the feet right up from under him. And referee Newell finally saw that one, as you said earlier, Gene. Mel had been pulled down as he was breaking towards the net on the far side on the same shift. So we'll get a chance now to get this game tied up for the 2-minute power play.
All right, now, the Flyers are 4 for 19 on the power play, and the Leafs 10 for 31. And now we're going to get a measurement of Wayne Stephenson's stick, I believe, or glove. No? Well, we thought that's what the Leafs were going to imply. Now Darryl Sittler's going over. And we can only surmise what that's all about. Sittler still drawing with Dave Newell. Now Dave is going to come over and signal face-off. Now we're going to measure the count stick. You see, the captain has to make the claim. Well, let's see if the Flyers are going to get burned when they had a chance at a power play to see if the Count Daly stick is illegal. They're going to measure the length as the tape measure is there now. And let's see if the Flyers, as they say in Hamlet, are hung on their own petard.
I asked the count. The maximum you're allowed is 55 inches, and the count is legal. I asked him once, I said, is your stick legal? He said, yes. He said, it's a full 55 inches and no more.
Well, they're down there. Neil
Don't
Armstrong
make a
is holding.
fibber out of me.
Neil Armstrong holding, and Dave Newell is holding, and he's talking to Bobby Clark. Let's see what they do with it. They give it back to the count. So, as the Flyers were hurt earlier against Palmatier, the Leafs are $200 poor, but maybe a minute fresher. Face off in the Leaf end, and the Flyers can't count forever on last-minute heroics, and they trail 3-2. And again, their power play, or the absence of it, has been the difference. The Leafs continue to hang in there, lead games or stay tough. 10 for 31, 1 every 3. The Flyers are 1 every 5, just 4 and 19.
Flyers will go with Clark, McLeish, and Leach up front. Barber and Daly at the points. It's going to be Ferguson, Thompson, the penalty killers, with Salming and Turnbull defensively. Face off top of the far circle to our right, to the right of Thomas. Back to the left point, Barber, a rolling puck. Barber gets it flat, looks, fakes the shot. Right point, Daly. Right face-off circle, McLeish. Back to Daly. Left points, Barber. Holds, back to Daly. Takes the drive. Routine thing, score! Rick McLeish on the rebound, and the Flyers come back again to tie it at 3.
All right, Terry, I know you're going to disagree with me, but poor clearance by Thomas, putting it right where he didn't want it to McLeish, who found short side.
You're right, Gene. I am going to disagree with you. Thomas did the only thing he could do on the count shot. He kicked it straight out where he had no choice. When the count's got that puck coming at you, Turnbull's right there. He misses the puck when it's coming. Ricky McLeish does not miss it. He's standing to the right of the net. Ricky doesn't hesitate at all. Thomas has got all he can do to stop the count shot to begin with. Turnbull missed it, and Ricky made no mistake standing to the right of the net. He was cruising in towards the net to try and pick that rebound up. He did. And a good shot low on the ice to beat Thomas on the glove side low.
Number 4 from Daly and Barber.
And for the Flyers, their 5th power play goal as DuPont has it behind his own net. Quickly up on the right, picked out by Evans. His drive wide as he was looking for that far corner, and it caroms all the way back to the Toronto backboard. Carlisle runs it down. Forechecking and breaking him up is Kindrachuk. Kindrachuk can't make a play on it as he fell down. Kelly breaks up Boudreau. Back to Bladen, his drive. Cutting right in front was Kindrachuk, and hopping on top of him was Randy Carlisle.
I think he got hit with that shot. He appears to be in pain in the Leaf crease, and quickly they're signaling Neil Armstrong. So the Flyers therapist, Matt DePaolo, is being hustled out by Billy Barber as Rick McLeish, who just tied the game, looks on from the Flyer bench. I'm sure that O tripped up in front and probably took that in the groin or high in the thigh.
He was heading for the front of the net, and right now Don Selesky is having some words, I believe, with goaltender Wayne Thomas. Carlisle's the one looking at him and trying to get in between, but I think possibly Bird thinks that Thomas took a jab at Kindrachuk. He is not moving too far. I think the puck, as you mentioned, Gene, did get him. He went to the front of the net, trying to set up a screen. Our shot from the point possibly connected with O somewhere. He's holding his midsection, so possibly the puck got him in the midsection. Hopefully he won't be hurt too bad. He'll be back up and in the game.
Well, we're going to try and see if we can't reconstruct that one.
Tommy Bladen has the puck. O is heading right there. Carlisle's got him. Carlisle just puts a good trip right on him, and there it's coming right there. So O has either got the puck in the side of the net or down around the chest, it looked like.
Good heavens, as we see it again, no interference, hook trip. News all day, every day on your total news and information station, WCAU CBS Radio News 1210. Take 1210 with you wherever you go and stay on top of the late-breaking news events. Worldwide, nationwide, Delaware Valley-wide. When you need news, WCAU Radio News 1210 is there.
So Kindrachuk is back up and moving, Gene, so good sign, good news for us. With a 3-3 game in progress, we can use O and his puck control out there as often as we can get him there.
Score is 3-3 with 11:54 remaining in regulation, and Lanny McDonald has 6 of the last 8 goals for the Leafs in this building.
Leach had an installment hat trick going coming into tonight's game, as we mentioned earlier, but that chain was broken by first Clark, then Daly, and then McLeish. But you can bet your bottom dollar that the rifle still has that cannon cocked. Okay, face off to the left of Thomas. Controlled by the Leafs. Just lifted back to the Flyers zone by Bob Neely. Running it down along the near side is Bladen. Lifting it ahead. Intercepted by Neely. His drive is way off the mark. Selesky retrieves the rebound on the left wing. Moves it ahead to center for Bridgman. Bridgman lifts it over the head of everyone and is gloved by Thomas. Thomas bumped out to the ice by Selesky. And they're going to give Selesky a penalty. It's going to be for charging Wayne Thomas.
How can you charge the man who's got the puck, Terry, when you're making a play on him?
You're right, Gene. He's fair game anytime he goes out of that crease, and especially when he's handling the puck. Don Selesky had every right to check him. Carlisle and Kimberchuk are missing it up. Don Selesky's heading for the penalty box on a call by referee Dave Newell. And so with 11:30 remaining in the third period, Toronto 3, Flyers 3.
Tiger Williams and Bridgman going to go off unless they cool it, as they've been doing the jungle circle around one another. Now Bell skates off, cooler head. Terry, let's assume that's here. Now, he makes the puck, and all Don Selesky does is bump him.
Don Selesky just barely got a piece of it. Not even considered a good check if you're going as checks go, Gene. And referee Dave Newell is, like I said, out for lunch on that call when you start calling like that. Even Thomas had the puck on his stick when Bird made connection with him. And so they call charging on a bump like that. These fans are giving Bob Kelly a royal round of boos as he came out to see if Tiger Williams wanted to dance with him for a while rather than Mel Bridgman. Freddie Shero behind the bench right now looking his charges over, deciding what he's going to go with.
Well, you know, Selesky had made threatening overtures to Thomas on that last stoppage when Kimberchuk was hurt, and then comes down and takes a run at him when he has the puck, and I wonder if Newell pre-read. He's going to try to cheap shot him and call the penalty on the observation.
Pre-reading is one thing, Gene, and if he pre-read that one, and if he'd watched the actual contact, it's a bad call on referee Dave Newell. Captain Bobby Clark over talking with Newell right now, but you know he's going to get no satisfaction at all.
Well, we're going to measure McDonald's stick, and he threw it at Dave Newell. And I would think that
if Dave Newell has any kind of gumption whatsoever, when a player throws a stick at you like that.
Oh, I think he did, didn't he, or what? No, he just lifted it. He meant to lift the glass. But I realized that McDonald was angry, but it's a sign of contempt to throw your stick at the official. And now they're measuring the... let's see, is it all right? It is all right. Well, the fines are now $200 each.
I'll tell you one thing. When a referee lets a player do that to him in plain sight and as obvious as that, you got to know that you've lost a little bit of face.
Well, I wonder if Mr. Newell feels he has.
Losing face doesn't help us on the penalty department either. So we're still 2 minutes short. First Selesky in the penalty box for charging.
Face-off outside the Toronto line as Sittler and Clark draw. McDonald gets it back to Salming on the far side. Comes their side for Dave Tiger Williams. Bumped by Lonsbury. Lifts at the length of the ice. Jim Watson goes for it. He's double-teamed as the Leafs are sending 2 men in deep. Watson quickly up to Clark. He can't clear out. A minute 42 left on Selesky's penalty. Daly on the right wing side. Off the glove of Turnbull to center ice. Here comes Lonsbury with Clark breaking. Lonsbury's drive wide to the short side. Picked up by McDonald on the right wing. The Leafs score him up ice across the Flyers line. McDonald's drive is wide as he went to the low far corner. Turnbull at the left wing got the drive, but it's blocked off. Daly now against Salming. One-on-one. Takes the drive. Long side. Cairns out of play as he didn't see Jim Watson wide open breaking down the left side.
All he had to do is go back in the second gear and draw Salming over to allow Watson to catch up, drop it to the left wing, and bingo. But it's easier up here.
I was going to say...
Now, Dave Newell is telling Tiger Williams to cool it. And I think Dave Newell is losing his patience. 10:47 remaining third period as the Flyers now lead 22-19 in shots. And in this period, 5-2. All right, now we still have more confrontation. Williams and Bob Kelly. And now we got a misconduct against Kelly and Williams. They're gone. I think Dave Newell rightly so this time, Terry, to stop all the nonsense.
Well, if I got to agree with you, I guess I will keen on a referee and end of it all right. But he sends both Dave Williams. Now Dave Williams is reaching over with his stick, trying to reach at one of the players. And Dave Newell once again standing right there looking at it, doing nothing about it whatsoever. So I think maybe if he loses any more face, he'll have to wear a mask pretty soon.
Now what? Now you see, the Flyers, we don't want any ugliness here, I hope, Terry. We've got
no, it's a matter of Dave Williams down there in the penalty box, sort of waving his stick, making overtures towards Don Selesky and Bob Kelly, who are in the timekeepers and the clock keepers in there that separate them. There's no way any damage can be done. They'll catch the penalties here. Bob Kelly, 10-minute misconduct. Dave Williams, a 10-minute misconduct.
All right, for the Hound, it gives him 16 penalty minutes on the playoffs, and for Williams, 29. Time of the penalty. So if there's overtime, they'll get back in, but otherwise not. We'll have to have, no, I'm sorry. They'll be back at 19:13 of this period. I'm sorry, Dave and Bob.
And there's still 1:17 remaining in Big Bird Selesky's penalty, so we'll still be short for that amount of time, killing that one off.
Selesky continues to glare to his left where Dave Williams is seated.
I think if you could see Don Selesky's face, you'd see a little bit of a smirk on it. He's sort of tantalizing Dave Williams down in there, trying to maybe draw him into something more stupid than he already has.
Bobby Clark goes to the Flyers.
What do we got here?
But Dave Newell says no more changes, so Clark comes back on.
Right now, they've got Dave Newell testy, Terry, and I think you have to cool it now.
Right. You can only push your luck so far with the referee, Gene. You're right.
Okay, face off to the right of Thomas. Clark against Sittler. Flyers and Leafs tied 3-3. This is game 6 of the quarterfinal round. Flyers need one more to nail this series down. Leafs control. Salming starts out slowly against the forechecking of Clark. Goes to Thompson on the right wing. Pass broken up at the Flyers line. Clark has it. Goes left side for Jim Watson. Tried to go ahead for Lonsbury, but it rides the length of the ice in on Thomas to take off any icing possibility. McKinney sets up behind his own net. He leads Salming on the right side, and Salming chooses to go. He's slowed down and almost straightened right up by a DuPont thump. Puck cleared over the stick of McKinney along the left point side and is back at the Toronto line. McKinney with it. Goes behind Sittler, taken off the Toronto left wing boards by Thompson. He goes back to the near side, no one's there. And McKinney has to retrieve it. And of course, this is making the Toronto skaters cover that much more ground. DuPont, and McDonald spins by DuPont, coming in off the right wing, shovels it through the goal mouth, and McDonald is down, and he's hurt.
Tommy Bladen caught Lanny McDonald cutting in off that out of the corner with the puck. Tommy was coming back, coming across ice. He hit him with a solid check that put Lanny McDonald down, and you know when you're putting Lanny McDonald down, you've hit him a good jolt, and that's exactly what Tommy Bladen did. Lanny McDonald had his head down, taking a shot on Wayne Stevenson. Just as he dropped his head, Tommy Bladen cut across ice and corked him a dandy.
Boy, you just can't let a guy like that go, and you've got to make sure you get the full check. Here he comes.
Here he cuts in now. He'll make his shot on Wayne Stevenson. As he makes it, he drops his head just that smidgen, and there is Tommy Bladen to give him a good jolt. On that one, we'll maybe take a little bit of a call. He clotheslined him a little bit, but referee Dave Newell decides that it's more legal than not, so...
How can you clothesline someone a little bit?
Well, McDonald went over, and I don't think he said anything to Newell, but he did a couple of twirls with his stick as if to say, why not? Sittler, Salming, McDonald, 7 points. Of course, they're going to kill you if you let them go, and the Flyers didn't on Tuesday, and they have tonight, and they're stalemated at 3 with 9:44. And again, they're going to keep testing Dave Newell on late line changes and double line changes. He's either going to rip somebody with a misconduct or a delay of the game penalty, again to take charge.
Ron Finn set to drop the puck outside the Flyers line. Clark against Bruce Boudreau. The draw goes between Salming and Turnbull, far side of the ice. Salming will be there first. Carries right in front of Wayne Thomas and goes back the other side for Warner. Ahead to Evans. He's banged down hard by DuPont. Puck is beneath Boudreau across the way, and it's tied up for face-off inside the Flyers line.
Now Dave Newell has lost a little bit of poise because as Clark was checking Salming and his stick was in the horizontal position about waist high, Newell just slapped at it as if to say, get the stick down.
Big Moose DuPont on that play was taking no chances. Lanny McDonald got away on him in that last break at the blue line to come in when Tommy Bladen got him. So at that time, Moose was hitting any white and blue uniform in sight whatsoever. They were just piling them up.
On the face-off, Flyers control in their own zone. DuPont left, goes to Bladen on the right to center ice for Barber. He's tied up by Warner, and the loose puck is picked up by Salming, who swings back out of his own zone on the left wing. Goes to Bob Warner, broken up by McLeish, but picked up once more by Salming. Flyers are back at even strength with Toronto now as Selesky's penalty is over. Here comes Turnbull across the line. On the left wing. Goes outside of Bladen. Centering pass. Back at the line. Salming shot. First wide of Stevenson. Taken by Barber. He'll start out on the left side. Quickly up to Dornhofer to McLeish on a tap pass. McLeish inside the line. His shot deflected high into the far corner and out of play.
Took the stick right out of somebody's hand, Dornhofer's, and we'll have a face-off to this top circle left wing offense. Bob Warner skating off. Again, Red Kelly's gambling now with the young people, and maybe on hindsight he should have done it earlier in the series.
Well, hopefully they'll get burnt using their inexperienced players if we can get one. Good play by Ricky McLeish on that to get it over the boards out of play. He wasn't too sure what was behind him. There was a lot of Leaf players checking him, so he did the smart play and just kept the puck going straight ahead.
Grinderchuk on the faceoff. Gets the shot off wide short side on Thomas's right side, the stick side. Now puck goes into the right wing corner. Selesky battles for it. Bridgman takes it off the board. Tries the short side stuffer, but it's deflected out to Boutet. To center ice for Ashby. He breaks with Neely. Neely across the line. Poked away by Bob Daly. Picked up by Bridgman. Down the right wing. Gets by Pelech. Pelech takes him down. And Selesky tries to dig it loose and does. Back to Daly. Tees it up and drives. It hits Pelech and Caroms to the far wing. And Pelech is floating it up, but it's Neely now across the Flyers line on the right side. Cuts in. Rolls it in on Stevenson as Neely is leveled. And Daly starts out. Daly puts it right on Boutet's stick, who dumps it right back in. Offside pass against Toronto. 8:06 to go in regulation time. The score is the Flyers 3 and Toronto 3.
The Leafs' forgotten man, Ingar Hammerstrom, and Mike Pelech, just off to his left, is walking in pain behind the Leaf bench after taking that shot from Daly.
Okay, here's Barber teeing it up. His drive is wide. Caroms back to the right point. Bladen. Throw a screen. Tap to the backboard. Way off the mark. Dornhofer goes for it across the way. Backhands it behind the net for McLeish. Tries to throw it out front. Blocked off by George Ferguson. Ferguson gets loose, and he'll start out on the right wing. Ferguson lifts it high in the air to center ice. Knocked down by DuPont. Immediately picked up by McKenny. McKenny across the line on the left. Trying to cut through the defense in the left face-off circle, but he's broken up, and back comes DuPont. DuPont, the right wing, through center ice. Goes left side for McLeish. McLeish has Dornhofer open. Dornhofer misses the far corner. Now it's McLeish with a loose puck on the far wing. Keeps it in the zone. Goes right point for Bladen through a screen. Glove save as Dornhofer again is double teamed and taken down by both Salming and Turnbull.
Oh dear, there it was, Terry. Now Dornhofer and Turnbull are separated by Neil Armstrong, and players drifting in from both benches make for a greater number of combatants out there to the left of Wayne Thomas.
Dorney taking exception to the way that Turnbull took him out in front of that net and spun him around. Good shot by Tommy Bladen. Just a narrow miss on that last rush down. We just missed a wide open corner on that last one to the stick side of Thomas, or we'd have been ahead in this game.
Dornhofer hasn't had a point. Couldn't get the puck off his skates as he was moving in with 7:14 remaining in regulation play. Tied at 3. Turnbull, the Leafs lead. Clark tied it. McDonald gave them the lead. Daly tied it. McDonald gave them the lead again, and McLeish tied it.
Face off to the left of Thomas. Clark against Sittler. On the face off, Clark tries to go back to Leafs, but it's picked off by Neely. Neely, his pass on the right wing side, intended for McDonald, picked off by Lonfrey. Clark tried to hit Leafs, breaking at the blue line. Loose puck across the way. Clark gets it again. Clark looks for Leaf, but goes for Lonfrey down the right wing, inside the Toronto zone. Goes to the right wing corner behind the net. Blocked off by Pelech. Clark out to Jim Watson. His shot blocked by Sittler, and here come the Leafs. Neely, wing to wing for McDonald. Across the line. Shot is blocked off by Joe Watson. Picked up by Clark. Slickly around the near side. Leafs can't get out of the zone. Pelech blocks him. Neely blocks Clark. Puck behind the net. McDonald tries the short side stuffer. Blocked by Jim Watson. And it's behind the Flyers net. Clark goes down. Jim Watson still battles.
Clark can't get out of the net.
And finally, it comes to Leafs, near side. Reverses direction for Joe Watson. He'll move it to center ice on the left wing. Watson caddy corners it to the Toronto right wing corner. Loose puck picked up now by Pelech as the Flyers change on the go. Sittler parted from the puck. Here comes DuPont. Across the line on the right. Here it is. Moving in. Has no shot. Goes to the left wing corner. Shovels it across for Bob Daly. The count's going to tee it up. drive down by Kindrachuk, right in on Thomas, and he makes the save and ties it up. We've got 5:50 left in regulation time with the score, Toronto 3, the Flyers 3.
Mel Bridgman looking on with the score tied at 3, face-off in the Leaf goal to the left.
Kindrachuk against Boudreau. Kindrachuk got a stick on it, but it pops right to Turnbull, and he sets up behind the Leafs net. Tried to spring Boudreau loose, but the pass is way off the mark. Flyers get it back. Kindrachuk lifts it to the left wing corner. Goes behind the Leafs net, picked up there by Borja Salmi. 5:36 left in regulation time as Turnbull takes the feed on the left. Quickly out to center ice. Onside as Boudreau gets across the Flyers line, double teamed and dumped. Puck back at center ice as Bridgman scooped it up for Selesky. Selesky to Kindrachuk, breaking in off the left. Puck is beneath one man, picked up by Paul Evans. He breaks with Boudreau and Warner. Left wing pass intended for Warner. He's bumped by Daly and buried at the Flyers' backboard. Loose puck behind the net, comes to the near wing. Evans battles Selesky for it. Daly blocks it off, and it's tied up for face-off to the right of Wayne Stevenson.
Kids are green, but they're showing a lot of moxie in a very tough situation.
When you throw them like that, Gene, you've got to have them going. They got the young pins, the good legs, and that's what you want of them, is just to keep tiring out the other team. And this young group right here is certainly doing that. Both teams now going to the boards a lot, taking no chance with any loose pucks. When the puck is in each end, they're freezing it. They're not letting anything squirt out there at all, so a fluke goal will hurt them. And with Freddie's theory down in the far end to try and keep it loose, hopefully, and there's a view of us away up Hockey Night in Canada at the gondola.
Okay, face-off comes out to center ice. Mike Pellick waits for his teammates to clear and dumps it back into the Flyers' left wing corner. Under 5 minutes left. Blade gives the puck off to Jim Watson. Lines it up for Barber. Gets by him, and it'll be Randy Carlyle tracking it down just inside the Toronto line. Hits Errol Thompson with a pass. Wasn't expecting it. Puck bounces high in the air and out of play in the Toronto right wing corner.
I don't know what I'm going to do by saying this, but the Flyers have won 4 games here in playoff history, and 3 of them have come in overtime.
I'm touching wood while you're saying it, Gene, so a view of Coach Red Kelly behind the Leafs, and the clock shows 4:37 remaining in the third period, a 3-3 tie.
McLeish against Ferguson, top of the near circle right. This is to the left of Wayne Thomas. Puck control by the Flyers. Back to Bladen at the right point. Lines up and drives. Glove save. It was off the mark. Thomas drops it off for Carlyle. Up to Thompson near side. Intercepted by McLeish. Rolls it through. McLeish gets it right back again in the right wing corner to Dornhofer. Dornhofer, they're climbing all over him. And now it's Carlyle. Carlyle slowed down by McLeish, but the pass is already on its way as Ferguson goes to Thompson. He can't handle it. Picked up by McLeish. He's across the Toronto line. Goes to the right wing corner. Tries to throw it in front. Hits the side of the net. Thompson around the far wing for McKenny. Blocked out by Jim Watson. Kicked up to Ferguson. Lifted to center ice. Comes to the near wing. Bladen will be there. Bladen hits the red line and lifts it back into the Toronto left wing corner. Lanny McDonald back on. Takes it and sets it up behind his own net. Quickly up to Sittler. Gets by him the length of the ice, but icing is waved off. Now quickly, Joe Watson to Bob Daly. Almost intercepted by Sittler. Joe Watson can't clear it out as the Leafs start to apply a bit of pressure. Intercepted by Selmy to Sittler all along the right wing, across the way. Sittler back to Selmy. The drive wide of Stevenson. Comes to the Flyers left wing. A drive by Turnbull is into the side of the net. Kept in by Selmy at the right point. Goes to the Flyers backboard. Joe Watson around the near side. Turnbull at the left point. Down to the left wing corner for Neely. His pass knocked out of the slot. Neely gets his stick on it. A drive by Sittler goes out of play across the way, and it'll be faced off inside the Flyers zone.
Flyers had 4 opportunities to clear. From the corner, could not, and the Leafs, with Salming doing most of the pressing on the far boards, kept it in, and that time off a blocked pass, it rolled right in the slot. Sittler just made a pivot on Grove, and it's the kind of play where a goaltender is either there or not there. If it's on the net, they have no chance to make a move, but it was deflected out of the ring. Face off to Stevenson's right with 3:01 remaining in regulation. Game tied at 3. It's been that way since 7:37 on McLeish's power play goal.
Lanny McDonald taking the face-off as Sittler is poised in the inner edge of the face-off circle to the right of Stevenson as he checks out. Clark against McDonald. Flyers can't control. Clark still battles for it. Now it's Leach. Leafs fans as he tries to clear. Now gets it out. Picked up by Lansbury. Goes outside of Salming. Drops it back for Jim Watson. Fires. Kicked out by Thomas. The rebound picked up by Salming. It'll be kept in by Clark. Clark goes to the right wing corner. Lansbury goes for it. Back to Daly. The drive. Push pop. Jimmy! The Flyers go in front. 4-3 at 17:22 of the third period of play.
Jimmy Watson has just picked up his first point of the playoffs and his fourth all-time goal, and of all positions to be, and he broke in as they covered him from the point. Thomas couldn't get the rebound away while he was on his side, and there is the count. Daly making it count again. It went right through Turnbull's skates. Thomas off balance, tried to hook the puck away, but Jimmy Watson, as he went down, scored at 17:22, and for the first time tonight, the Flyers lead it. Jim Watson, as Daly's shot went through, not Turnbull, but Sittler, gets the goal from Ross Lansbury and Bob Daly. Daly, who has now had a goal and 2 assists on the 4 Flyer goals. So the Leafs now are 2 minutes, 38 seconds away from elimination. Hang tough, Don Earl.
Well, I just hope you don't have to put on those track shoes and do the 100 again. Face off at center ice. Kindrachuk lifts it into the Toronto zone. Thomas sets it up for Mike Pelech. Flyers lead it for the first time in the game, 4-3. The go-ahead goal off of the stick of Jim Watson. Carlisle up the right wing at center. He's broken up by Kindrachuk. Loose puck finally lifted into the Flyers zone shallow as Tom Bladen moves it back to center ice. Selesky in the right wing now. Drives it to the Toronto left wing corner. Carlisle on it. Forechecking, is Bridgman. Quickly out comes Boudreau as he takes the lead pass. He's across the Flyers line. Poked off his stick by Bladen, but now picked up by Evans. Evans, left wing corner. Throws it in front. Backhanded by Boudreau. It's blocked by Stevenson, and here comes Selesky. Great bid by Bruce Boudreau. Boudreau back inside the Flyers zone, taken down by Bladen. The fans here at Toronto's Maple Leaf Gardens are calling for a penalty. Now it's Bridgman on the left wing, just lifts it to center ice. Right on the stick of Mike Pelech. Pelech from the red line, down the left wing, boys. Stevenson sets it up behind the net for DuPont. Quickly up to Selesky. He can't move out. Finally cleared up to McLeish on the right wing. Goes left side for Barber. Barber gets the puck inside the zone. Has it taken away by McKinney. McKinney spins away from McLeish. Goes left side for Pelech. 1:10 left in regulation time. Pelech lifts it wide of Stevenson, who comes out to glove it. Jim Watson can't clear up, but now it's picked up by Barber. Barber to McLeish. To Dornhofer. Dornhofer across the line. Down the slot. Back to McLeish, blocked off. Dornhofer on the ice, gets a stick on it. 50 seconds left. Here's Errol Thompson. Ahead for Turnbull. He's to center ice. Up to Ferguson. Dumps it in on Stevenson wide, and he covers it to stop play with 39 seconds left in regulation time. That's the length of time remaining between the Leafs and the Flyers, with the Flyers holding the 1-goal lead. The go-ahead goal by Jim Watson at 7:22 of this third period of play. A reminder that if the Flyers play Sunday night, whether it be against Toronto or against whomever, it will not be a 7 o'clock game. It will be 8 o'clock, and it will be seen locally on TV 29 and heard on CAU radio. Face-off when play resumes will be to the right of Wayne Stevenson. Flyers have out there Clark, Kindrachuk, Lansbury, defensive specialist with DuPont and Daly. The Leafs go with Ferguson, Sittler, McDonald, Neely, Salming, and Turnbull. Turnbull's shot deflected high over the glass and in the mezzanine behind the Flyers net to our left. So we'll try it once more. This time it'll be the top of the near circle to our left. The Leafs just 36 seconds away from elimination in this quarterfinal round, a series that's been a humdinger. Ferguson against Clark on the faceoff. Comes to Kindrachuk, skates it behind the net. He's double teamed, going to tie it up there, take no chances. He's broken up. Rolls it in front, but Clark clears it away on the right side for Lansbury. He's at center ice. Broken up there, and McDonald makes a bid for it. Ferguson straightened up by Daly. DuPont has it. 16 seconds left. Kept in by Salming. It hops over his stick. Here's Lonsbury, one-on-one. Wide open net. Thomas has been pulled. Kindrachuk misses the open net. Karams to Clark in the left wing corner. Off the goal post. And now it's Kindrachuk out the right wing. 1 second, it's all over. It's all over. The Flyers have won the game 4-3. And thus eliminated Toronto from this quarterfinal round. Now Dave Tiger Williams is making overtures about going after some of the Flyers, which I think is an exhibition of the poorest type of sportsmanship. And he's grabbed by Darryl Sittler. Williams now is going to the dressing room. He refuses to shake hands with any of the Flyers. Williams showing poor sportsmanship as he streaked to the Leafs dressing room, refusing to shake hands. Of course, this is traditional at the conclusion of any series in Stanley Cup play and international play. Darryl Sittler, Gary Dornhofer, Rick McLeish, Red Kelly is in line. And the handshake ceremony, which goes back to the beginning of Stanley Cup play, goes on down below us. And I'll tell you, this Toronto team has shown what playoff hockey is all about, as they hung tough and forced the Flyers to almost the very limit. They stretched them to 7 games a year ago, and they made overtures to do the same thing again this season. And so it'll be the Flyers going against the Boston if they win that series, and they'll try to nail that series down on the West Coast tonight. But if LA wins, well, we'll just have to sit and wait on that one. And that pretty much does it as far as the ceremony at center ice. The final score, the Flyers win it 4-3. And we'll be back for tonight's recap in just a moment. Here in Toronto, and the Flyers saved their best shooting onslaught for that final period, picking up 2 goals, enough to overtake the Toronto Maple Leafs and win this deciding game. The final score was 4-3. McDonald on a power play goal gave them a 3-2 lead at the 5:06 mark, but back came Rick McLeish with a power play goal of his own at 7:37, and the game winner at 17:22 off the stick of Jim Watson. The Flyers had 30 shots on goal, the Leafs 24, and now the Leafs are eliminated. The Flyers play a waiting game for the outcome of the Boston-LA series. Final score, Flyers 4, the Leafs 3. Stay tuned for the post-game show, which follows next.
The excitement continues on the Finance America post-game show. A complete wrap-up of all the Flyers action, sponsored by Finance America, a Bank America company. Here are the highlights of the game: the goals, the penalties, the big plays, and a live interview with the Flyers star of the game. It's all brought to you by Finance America, the company to see when you need a loan. Because Finance America wants to put a jingle in your pocket.
Game 4-3. Coach Mike Nicolak with me, and if it looks like we're sitting on the edge of our seats, we are, because after a series like this, Mike, we have every right to be able to do it. To sit here and go through a quiet interview is going to be a little tough. Mike, you and I were talking numbers. We said 38 seconds one game, 4 minutes roughly the next game. Tonight, 2 minutes and 24 seconds. Mike, you can sum up this series for us against the Leafs and how our team played.
Well, to come back, like I think in this building, the way we've had to come back, I think we were down goals and we come back every time. And in the closing towards the end of the third period there, it takes an awful lot of courage, Terry. I mean, I think the guys really showed you what they're made out of to come back and to do what they've done in the Maple Leaf Gardens here. We were talking about what key plays were that throughout the series and that. I thought that one of the key plays was when Freddie moved Ross Lonsbury to check Lanny McDonald. I know people are going to say, well, you know, Lanny McDonald got a lot of goals, but most of his goals were on power play goals, you know, so you can't really count that. I thought really that was one of the key plays, and I think the other key play, I thought that when Freddie he started to go with the 5 defensemen. He gave Ricky, who has inexperience, not as much ice time, but you know, he'll play him. But when things get a little tough, then he'll go with the 5 that he regulars, Terry.
Mike, we were talking earlier before we went on the air. All this series, we had a week before we come into it. You as a coach, I know as a player what we'd like to do in that week and what goes through our mind. Maybe you can tell the people at home and some of the people out there that how do you keep a team keen? How do you keep the fellas on edge? You got a whole week to kill. You got to come up with something to keep those fellas in shape, but at the same time happy.
Well, I think the first thing you think of automatically, Terry, is it's a long season, and you do have, like, what was it? We had about 8 days or so off. So we gave the boys a couple of days off just to relax and, you know, be with their families. We thought that would be good because, you know, it's just tough. It's a tough life in that traveling like this here. And so then we started to get them back, and then we started to go into the scrimmaging bit with it. But sometimes it doesn't really work that much because, you know, you get into scrimmaging and the guys want to take it easy, and you know,
We're getting a wrap-up.
you don't lose that you lose that edge, I think, that you had. 8 days is really too long, Terry. It's not bad 4 days you can get back into it, but 8 days is really too long.
Okay, we got Gene Hart making a wrap-up sign, Moose DuPont trying to do it in English, which is having difficulty. Mike, we're waiting right now for the outcome out in the West Coast, L.A. and Boston. How do you get set for a series? What team? How do you get ready to see what team you're going to go against?
Well, you know, I think we're just glad to get by this series. It was a tough series, believe me. Toronto almost had us, and I think all the guys are just happy that we come back the way we did and we won, and we're in the next series, and from there we'll take it. Doesn't matter who we play.
Mike, as you said, very happy to put on to the next series, bring them on to us. We'll go at this commercial now, and then Gene Hart will be back with his 2 guests, Mr. Andre DuPont and Mr. Billy Barber.
See, that guy always tell me I can speak French. Boy, he's stuck with an answer now. I asked him all the thing about the game tonight. He's got no answer for us.
All right, ready? Flyer 4, Toronto 3. Fini.
Oui, monsieur, ils sont tous finis. Ils sont atteints.
Mose, come on. No, hey, we're going to be a little serious now. I don't think of anybody in the league that can have more respect for the effort of the Toronto Maple Leafs than the Flyers, and particularly you 2 guys.
Well, Gene, you know, first 2 games, we were in trouble. We have to admit that. We didn't play well, and we lost. And, you know, we have a great hockey team, and there's no way our team's going to give up. And I think Toronto knew that. Even though we were down 2 games, nothing, we came back 4 in a row. That's our hockey team, and we're ready to go on to the next series.
The Flyers did the impossible. They win a series in 6 games with no points from Andre Dupont.
Well, it's not impossible. Like, we got 19 other guys on the team, and they got the points for me. And I did my job by trying to stop them, and I'm just as happy they didn't get any goals against me. And that's just as important for me right now.
Great defenseman, Borja Salming.
Oh, definitely. You have to rate him as one of the best, if not the best right now. I have to admire the individual. You know, we tried to tire him out, and he kept on playing. He kept on coming, and fortunate enough, Freddie used our bench very well, and I think it paid off for our hockey team. We went, you know, 3 lines, 2 forwards, 6 defensemen, and I'll tell you, to win a Stanley Cup, you have to have everybody going, and we did it the last 4 games.
And at the other end, a marvelous pair of offensive players, Sittler and McDonald.
Yeah, right, but especially McDonald, we gotta, you know, you have to keep close to him all the time because every time he come wide, he's got the quick wrist shot, and it's very hard because he used the defenseman as a screen, you know, for the goaltender, and that's the way he scored a couple goals tonight, and he's pretty tough to check. And Sittler never quit. He's kind of a Clarky type. He works hard all the time, and they would really work hard. They really surprised me this year, a lot more than last year.
No backup goaltending for Wayne Stevenson.
Well, Wayne played very well. You know, you got to have the goaltending, and he came out very big for us, and it's important. For us to win, we got to have goaltending and everybody going, and fortunate enough, we did it the last 4 games, and we go on to the next series looking forward to it. We got our work cut out for us, and I think if everybody can do what they're capable of, we shouldn't have any trouble.
All right, gentlemen, both of you, lean over. Would you just as soon get going Sunday against somebody, or would you rather have the rest till Tuesday?
I would rather go as soon as we can. We had the rest for a while there, and didn't help us too much in the series, and I think we got the momentum to go now, and we got our mind to playing hockey, and just want to start as soon as we can.
I feel the same way as Moose does, and I imagine everybody else in the team does too. That, you know, we have to. As soon as it starts Sunday, we're all ready to roar now. We had the week off, and didn't, like Moose said, it didn't help us too much, so we're ready to get at it right now.
All right, gentlemen, for being our guests, you're going to be thrilled by this again in the hot weather. Abbott Dairies, from the ice cream capital of the world, provide for you a year's supply of the greatest ice cream in the world. That's a half a gallon every week, and for the great DuPont